All right, welcome to Flamecast. This is Todd,
Woohoo!
and I don't know if it's on this side or this side, but we have Travis.
Hello,
Travis
everybody.
Buckmeyer.
It's Travis Buckmeyer. So happy to be here again with Todd. As we've just been discussing here, setting up for this, this will be our third attempt recently to do one of these where Todd will successfully record and be able to replay this event. So good luck, Todd.
One correction there. This is not recently. We tried this back in April, and we tried it again in, I think it was September, late September. So
Just saying.
Flamecast 55 has been like the Friday the 13th of Flamecasts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But the best part is, both those were, pretty short ones, only an hour or two of recording time. So, it didn't feel like it was, sucking the life out of me. So that was good.
Well, I mean, at least we got some decent conversation in there, even if it wasn't recorded. But
Dude, we did. That was the fun part. That was glorious. I will give you that.
But yeah, the first one, it didn't record any of the audio. And the second one crapped out at about the 16-minute mark, which I discovered at about the 45-minute mark.
Yes, and that was a very dramatic moment, Todd, and we all sympathized with you for a good 30 seconds before we laughed. So, there is that.
Laughed or left?
Laughed and then left. We laughed first, and then we left.
Well, this is the first time in a long time that we haven't had Wes here, so we're like Westless.
We're Westless because Wes had more important things to do, and that's fine. We miss you, Wes. And then there's Matt. Sometimes Matt comes along, and no Matt today.
But I was going to say, we are the young and the Westless.
Oh my!
Actually, we're really old and cranky, but
I'm getting old and cranky. I'm just telling you now.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been like 5-6 months, but even longer for anyone out there who's actually been paying attention to these. So they have like no clue of how we've been spending our pandemic days.
No, it's been this whole pandemic thing has screwed with everything, Todd.
It has. I mean, oh shoot. I had a free ticket for like $5 of movie theater concessions, and it expired today.
I'm betting if you go in, they may still honor that for you, Todd.
They might, but on the other hand, it's like they've been hurting so much. I kind of feel guilty using a coupon against them.
Okay, so I give you that. So you should do it right and just get a buttload of concessions because that's where they make most of their money anyway. So just get a buttload of stuff, and then or something. Get like 3 tubs of popcorn. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I could buy 3 buckets, but that's like $60.
That's where the $5 coupon comes into play, Todd. Now it's only $55.
Yeah, only $55.
Which ties in to Flamecast 55. Okay, see the irony of this, Todd?
Oh God.
Here we go. Let's make this happen.
I mean, okay, for myself, since middle of March, I've basically been working from home. Really haven't gone out that much. In the summer, went and did at least 2 bike rides each week, like 10, 15-mile bike rides. Got on the scooter every once in a while if I actually did have to go somewhere and the weather was nice. But of course, I'd only take you until... Actually, I did go out in November. Mail was handing out free masks for employees.
Okay.
So I had to ride into town and um, kind of got in this line and got my masks, and they're like, "Well, you're the first person that's come in on a motorcycle." I'm like, "All right."
And just for my friends who don't understand that, Todd lives in southeastern Minnesota. Just FYI. So November, Minnesota, Todd's on a motorcycle. Just pointing it
Right,
out.
and it was almost 60 degrees that day.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I got to get out and do this one last time. So,
There you go.
and that was the last time. After that, it was like, put your winter additives in the gas tank and let it sit and take out the battery.
I think you should have bundled up and kept going, Todd.
Oh God, no.
Ride or die, man. Ride or die.
I mean, when I was going into work, and I'd take the scooter in, if it was like 50 degrees in the morning, that's kind of that cutoff. Because any lower than that, and you're like a popsicle by the time you get there.
But I think what everybody wants to see, Todd, and they'll have a little flashback to a very popular movie years ago of Dumb and Dumber. I think that's what they're expecting you to do, Todd. Riding your motorcycle into winter Alps,
Yeah.
getting where you got to go with snot coming down your face. I'm just
Yeah, that's not
can't do
gonna
that.
happen. Well, you've had the most difference because you actually moved from one side of the country to the other.
So yeah, so my old job of many years did a downsizing thanks to COVID. So screw you, COVID. But I did get an opportunity at a different company, and I moved out west here to the Las Vegas area. So that's been very exciting. 3 time zone difference from where I was. So I'm still getting alerts and messages at 5 in the morning every now and then, which is fine. But yeah, it's been a bit of a change. I lived down here in Vegas before I went to Louisville. So I think it was 2008 last time I lived out here. So getting back into that groove, but like everything else, most things are shut down. Restaurants aren't seating people and whatnot. But luckily the casinos are open, so there's a source of entertainment there. There's that.
Yeah. It's too bad that Star Trek: The Experience isn't still out there.
No.
But
Well, so it goes.
it's sad. I never did get to go out to it.
I'm at least closer now. I can drive out to California and go do the Star Wars bit there. So I am closer to that now. I do have that advantage.
That's true. That's true. And it's just further away for me. So
get on the plane, Todd. Get on the plane, fly.
No planes for Todd. No.
What?
No, I am not a fan of planes.
It's fine. If you take the right medicines, you'll be out cold. It'll be all right.
Yeah, I'd be one of those people that they couldn't wake up when they get to the destination, and
just put a little tag on your jacket on there and just say, find Travis, he'll wheel me out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd trust you.
Oh, that hurts, Todd. That hurt.
Well, let's see. I suppose we should hit the list here.
What's up first? What do you got for us, Todd?
That is like changed every time I try to redo this Flamecast.
You need to keep it simple, Todd. Simple.
The last time it was going to be dealing with like Halloween movies and stuff like that. Well, yeah, that's out the window. So now it's we're looking at a year-end overview now.
Wow. Yes. What a year to review, Todd. Let's do this. It sounds good.
Well, I thought what we would do is, we list our top 3 movies or TV shows or something that we've watched during last year.
Well, we already know what the top one's going to be, and that's going to be agreed between the two of us. So let's just move that one aside.
I was going to say, I'll let you go first since you're
All right, well, let's just talk the glory of the Mandalorian. Let's just do that right off the bat because that's what everybody loves. So we'll talk about the glory of the Mandalorian, how John Favreau and Dave Filoni should be awarded the Presidential Medals of Freedom, whatever civilian honors we can give these guys. Um, like I said, for those who aren't watching The Mandalorian, you need to watch it. And for those who have been watching it, you got to agree. This year, they stepped it up a notch. I mean, the first season was an awesome show. They had surprises. They had, it looked great. It was spot on. Get the season, you always wonder, okay, well, second season, can you maintain the glory, whatever? They started off right off the bat. You're doing something on Tatooine. You've got the crate dragon, which is, something that was very mythical to those of us who, really dive into the Star Wars universe. That was an awesome representation. You have the hint of Boba Fett in there with another guy having his armor. It's just, they let off with that. And it's almost like they pushed the pedal to the floor and just kept going. And being able to introduce characters that were coming in from the cartoons as, live action, just between, Ahsoka obviously being the first one, it was like, oh my God, it's Ahsoka, and it was glorious. And you had Bo-Katan, and then you go and end it off by bringing in Luke Skywalker, and you bring in the badass Luke Skywalker that should have been present in the sequel movies. Simple as that. That is what should have been taken advantage of. Mark Hamill is still young enough. He was still, be able to, work into some of that. Obviously, they're going to have a stunt guy doing a lot of the fight stuff, but he's young enough and healthy enough that it would have been a very good demonstration of the Luke Skywalker everybody expected. Now, I like the argument of people saying, "Oh, but that's what you expect," and the Luke presented was something else. Great, that's great if that's your opinion on it. But here we are, 30 years later, we're kind of expecting Luke Skywalker, the badass, the wise badass, using it when he needs to, but still, Luke Skywalker, the badass.
And we finally got a name for Baby Yoda.
Yeah, Grogu. I mean, that was also entertaining. And what's really interesting about that is, you said you pay attention to that he was at the temple when they had Order 66 come through. So now there's, the whole thing of, okay, well, he was there. How did he get out? Who protected him? How did that happen? And again, I imagine that could be a season 3 thing that they play out more of. Although I'm expecting season 3 to be more about Mandalore and that whole arc there. But you set up something else. But yes, Grogu, and we know Grogu has an affinity for eggs, which again, some people were kind of upset with. We get it, but we saw him do it.
No, it's high cholesterol. Stay away from the eggs.
Well, I mean, did not last season we saw him eating frogs? So this was like frog people. I'm sorry, guys. We already knew that was on his list of what I want. Oh, look at what you got there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that was a Christmas gift from Sean. Anyways. But yeah, my thoughts at the end of the show were like, oh, this is awesome and everything, but being that we know what happens in The Force Awakens and later on, this kid might not be alive anymore.
Well, again,
I mean, that can always change.
That can always change. That's speculation because, again,
we didn't see a body.
You didn't see a body, and we know the claim is that they killed everybody. Well, we don't know. We don't know who escaped, who got away. Right. And again, if you have the point of someone like Ahsoka can survive the Purge, the original Purge, and all that stuff for decades later. You don't know what might happen. And Todd, I'm just going to take a moment to point out that your screen has frozen on my view, so I'm hoping everything's still good with recording. But as long as it looks good on your side, that's all that really matters.
I mean, you're still moving, but
all right, that's kind of let's continue on.
I am hoping it'll just kind of catch up at some point, but
Sure, let's go with that plan.
um, well, I presume that's like on the top of each of our lists.
Yeah,
Um,
we're going with that. I mean, I don't know how you can go with much of anything else because the entire season of the Mandalorian was great, and you end it on that note that you have you have videos of people who are just in awe and shocked and so happy with the way they ended that. Um, they ended 2020 on a very high note on what was a pretty crappy year. So we'll give them that.
all right. Well, what would be your number two?
Well, that's a good question. Now I don't know.
That's why I had bullet points on the.
Oh, like we reach bullet points, Todd.
First you
I'm
want
kidding.
bullet points, and then I give you the bullet points, and then you don't read them.
Yeah, it was a challenging time period here, Todd. So um, let's see. If you go through last year, we obviously focus on all of our stuff that is the sci-fi and what related, but I'm still a big fan of the Goldbergs. the Goldbergs TV show, guys. I mean, seriously, if you're our age and you haven't been watching the Goldbergs, you need to. It's the junk we grew up with. Again, it reminds us of all the crazy crap from the 80s. And I still think, again, if you haven't seen the Goldbergs, watch the Goldbergs.
Yeah. I think you're the one who actually turned me onto that show, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, because I got hooked on it with the Ferris Bueller episode. Excuse me, the Ferris Bueller episode, and I just about died laughing through that whole thing on there because it was ingenious the way they presented it, and it was just funny the way they related to the adventures of Ferris Bueller. So, yeah, I love that show.
It's not on my top three, but I do agree it's a good show. I was going to say something else about it. Oh, they start off each episode saying, it was, July 24th, 1980 something.
Yes.
Emphasis on that something.
Correct.
But shouldn't they kind of now be kind of saying 90 something? Because, I mean, Adam's getting too old for being, going through that much of the 80s. And
I got to remember what year Adam graduated high school, which is, I think, what they're still focused on. Because I think he's pretty close to our age. But there's two reasons they're doing it that way. Because each episode is not what happens in an episode, even though it may be based on something in a real life experience. They do have a ways of, even within an episode, merging something that might have been from 1982 with 1987 as part of the story of that episode. So with that blend, like this week might be a focus on 85, next week might be a focus on 88. And so that's why they always say 1980 something. So it's still an 80s theme, but it might be any part of the 80s for that episode.
Yeah.
And then they talk about the fact that, by the most part, is a lot of this stuff is based on Adam's life. Some of the episodes are actually bringing in components from the different writers and the content makers behind the scenes. So they do have, kind of insert some stuff that may not have been Adam's life experience, but somebody there experienced it in the 80s. So that's kind of why they're doing that whole 1980s something. Now, I don't know, like I said, when they do his graduation, because his high school graduation would either be this year or next year. I don't remember how they're playing that off, probably next year. Because either they're going to end the series then because he would have moved off to college, or they're going to, like I said, do the 1990 something, and here's the college experience.
Yeah.
But they did do one episode, and this was a rerun that I saw not too long ago, where the sister Erica, which is actually a portrayal of the brother Eric, was at college, and it was implied that mom was calling all the time, leaving messages on the the voice machine, and they at the end of the episode they actually played it of Adam's actual machine he had saved with the recordings of his mom calling like every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'll take this moment to thank my parents for not doing that. That was, I thank you.
Yeah, I didn't have to worry too much about that myself, but
yeah, see.
Well, my number 2 is actually a benefit of getting Amazon Prime.
Ooh.
Because I got sucked into watching The Boys.
Oh, The Boys. Yeah, that was my third.
And I can't say enough good things about this. And there's been some of those moments in there where, you know, kind of like your Game of Thrones turn of events.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going along and you're thinking, no, something's going to happen, and then at the end of the episode, it's like, oh my god, holy crap! Like people's heads exploding and things like that. I mean,
well, my whole thing is like Game of Thrones on it. You have bad guys that I mean, those actors really are selling it that they're such an awful character that,
right.
you know, I mean, you're a Homelander. I mean, holy dude, you are messed up.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's, again, it goes back to like this and, you know, Marvel movies and casting and all that stuff on there. You have to cast the right people. And we saw it in Game of Thrones. I mean, those folks were awesome. You see it in the Marvel movies. They've done a great job of casting, you know, the people playing those parts. The Boys, I mean, holy cow. I mean, it's in Carl Urban. You know, I mean, most stuff we've seen him, he's been somewhat heroic and stoic, whatever, like this. And he's playing this guy who's on the edge of losing it. And, you know, his language is very colorful, every third word. You know, I mean, he just sells
metaphors.
that. Yeah, I mean, no, the Boys is another one that, again, they've done an amazing job with that. I do enjoy, like I said, some of the behind the scenes stuff that you see with what they're doing, and just realize how much fun they're having with that too. And again, and that's another whole part is they're having fun with it. They're selling their characters. They're having fun with what they're doing. Some of the stuff is outrageous with the storylines. And again, for folks who have not seen it, it's a little violent, it's a little colorful, but it is an excellent program.
Yes. So that was my number 2. I don't know. You had your number 2. Mm-hmm. Now you've got your number 3. Was that your number 3?
Number 3 was The Boys. That was, again, you know, again, that's another one where, you know, as soon as it's ready to go, you know, and I did like the fact that they didn't do a full release this time. It was, you know, the weekly release, which I enjoy better instead of trying to, you know, binge it or having other people binge it and then spoil everything, which sucks. But yeah, that again, that was up there. That was another good point for 2020.
Yeah, I do like where they release them weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of get that old TV feel, you know, waiting for the next week's episode and such.
Exactly.
And then you don't have to devote so much time all in one grouping where it's like, I got to watch this before tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 10 episodes. It's like, there's no way.
Yeah, and I always get, you know, I know the folks who will binge something and then cut the subscription to whatever program. And I'm like, I'm a firm believer that we're not going to get quality content if they can't afford to make it. And while, yes, I do agree certain things may be overpriced. Again, it's for what you're getting for something like The Boys. It's worth the money.
Yes.
You know, they did a great job. I hope they continue doing a great job with it. You know, I do follow a few of the actors on stuff like Instagram or whatever, and it's hilarious just you know, some of the stuff they're showing and what they're doing or how they shot something, and the fact that these costumes that they wear, you know, in like any superhero thing, you know, like the comics, whatever, some of these costumes are a little outrageous that, you know, are you really going to wear that, whatever. They show them they're filming something, it's great, and then they go off to the side and they're freezing cold because it's like 40 degrees out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you got half your body showing, so, you know.
Well, my number three came about in a little unconventional way. Um,
You were
Back
mugged.
in, when was that? October, November, somewhere in there. There was a remastered release of Prince's Sign of the Times.
Hmm.
And included with this CD set, I mean, you can get it on record albums as well, but I went with the CDs because
You have CD
I
players.
have CD players. Well, I do have a record player, but I'd rather get the CDs
Okay.
because then I just rip it right away. I put the CDs away kind of as a backup, and then I keep
Mhm.
everything on my computer. So,
Okay.
but along with these CDs came a DVD of a December 31st, 1987 concert at Paisley Park. So you get this whole New Year's Eve concert from Prince on Sign of the Times music. You've got uh, yeah, some of the guest musicians coming in, like now I'm going blank. I always go blank when I try to.
If
I
only
got to think
you
of
had
names.
a bullet point list to go through.
Well, I didn't want to stick it on the list, otherwise you know what I was talking about. Although no one knows what I'm talking about now, but although there are probably people out there that do know what I'm
I'm
talking
sure there
about,
are
and they're
people.
thinking, Todd, come on.
Well, nonetheless, so they had wonderful guest artists involved with this, and it was fun. Did it move you, Todd? Did it bring a tear to your eye?
You know, I do have the actual Sign of the Times concert film
Hmm.
on VHS, and I still have that thing, actually. It's back there somewhere behind me. So yeah, a lot of it was kind of comparing. It's like, oh, he kind of, switched up this song just a little bit, or
Hmm.
this song a little bit, or reverse some of the, uh, the sequence of the songs and such. But yeah,
So
it
he did
was,
the George Lucas adjustment to his music. Okay.
well, you look at any Prince concert that he's had, and really you can't say one is just like the other. There's always differences.
Well,
And that was one of the things that he was kind of a little obsessed with, is he always wanted to improve things. So he would have stuff recorded. He'd go and watch it that night after the concert, and oh, I didn't like that. Oh, I did like that. Switch everything up, make adjustments every single time. So
mhm.
yeah,
Well,
so,
I think everybody can agree he was an amazing artist and a good person. And what I like just about this, if you go and you can find it on YouTube, obviously, with different celebrities talking about encounters with Prince and stuff he would do. And what I didn't realize, and you probably knew this since you're a diehard Prince fan there, but his affinity for ping pong,
yeah.
and the fact that he would challenge people, you know, and just the different stuff that he did. Like I said, he was a perfectionist at things that he enjoyed doing and making his stuff better. And there's just some great stories about him out there that I think folks would be just astonished to hear about and listen to these stories of things he would do. But so you got this music, you're all excited. How many times have you played it?
Um, at least a couple of times. Um, and then one of the CDs is actually just the audio of the concert.
Oh
so,
wow,
so I've actually listened to it just by itself too. So,
awesome.
but yeah,
Now, do
yeah,
you know, are they going to
it's,
release? There after he passed away, there's a whole thing about he had his vault and he had all this music in there. Is there any update? Are they going to try and release some of this stuff as more music for him?
well, a lot of it has been uh, these remasters, and like with Sign of the Times, they added on what 3 discs worth of unreleased material along
Okay.
with. So that's kind of how they're doing it right now. Is they'll do a remaster of the next album, whatever they decide, and then throw on 1, 2, 3, 4 CDs worth of unreleased stuff. So I think the only one that's been released where it hasn't been connected to any album is the originals one, where he's doing he always did an original version before he gave it to someone else.
Right.
So you've got, like Nothing Compares to You before he gave it to the family, which then Sinead O'Connor went and took and did her own version of it. There's stuff from The Time on there, Apollonia 6, stuff like that. Manic Monday.
Well,
You hear the original versions.
That how many folks never realize that he wrote all this stuff and other artists produced it.
Yeah.
Made it their song. And to me, that is another amazing thing about him, is the fact that he just enjoyed creating so much. That you're able to do that. I mean, that's it's a great talent.
I gotta say, the weirdest song on that particular album has got to be the one that he did and gave to Kenny Rogers.
Which one is that?
Gosh, no, you're
saying The Gambler. I mean, that's just wrong.
No. It's called You're My Love.
Okay.
And I mean, this was made the same time that he was making the music for like 1999 and such, and it is so different from that particular set of music, where it's like he had to have been making it for someone else or with someone else in mind,
right,
as he did it, because it wouldn't fit on anything that he would have been doing at that point. So yeah,
I mean, that's part of the reason why it was given to somebody else too, is that he's like, this ain't gonna work.
That can be too. But yeah, that's my top 3. I've got The Mandalorian, The Boys, and The Sign of the Times concert DVD from the remastered set, which, I mean, that was about, how much was that? That was like, I think it was about $150 for that set.
Oh, wow.
But yeah.
But look how happy it's made you, though. That's so key. You see it. The glow.
That might be the lights behind me.
Just go with what I've got here, Todd. I'm helping you out, man.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. I do want to stick a runner-up in there.
Oh.
That, unfortunately, this was going to be a runner-up. It could have been on the list, but I still haven't seen this one. And this was... Notice that all of these have been... Well, Sign of the Times was a different beast altogether, but everything else we've been talking about has been TV shows. There's been no movies in there. If there was going to be a movie on there, and had I seen it, it would have been Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Okay. So you have not seen that yet?
I was expecting to get this on Blu-ray as a Christmas gift. I was fully expecting it.
And this didn't happen?
And it did not happen.
Wow.
Because I was waiting for that moment to actually watch it at home on disc, because I didn't want to go and buy it digitally only, because I want my copies. I want my physical copies. All my physical copies back here.
So I'm not sure if your family watches or listens to your Flamecast, but Todd Plett's family, you let him down. Look how sad he is. It's just not right.
Well, and
Now,
then what I was thinking what I would do is, um, due to a bunch of the Christmas presents that we bought from Best Buy, I've got a $5 certificate
mhm,
from Best Buy that's good for, I think it's about a month yet, maybe a
yeah,
little less than a month. And all the way up to until Christmas, it was like almost every week they would give bonus certificates where it was like, oh, this week you get a $5 bonus certificate. Oh, $10 this week. Ever since Christmas, nothing. And of course, the the Blu-ray set is back up to like $20.
hmm,
I'm like,
it's part of the plan there, Todd. It's part of the
I
plan.
know. I might just go and do it, use my $5, get it at 15, pay the tax on it.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do there.
I
It
guess.
happens. But I think you'll enjoy that movie. It's definitely not exactly what I was expecting on it. Very enjoyable. So you got that to look forward, Todd. So we're not going to spoil anything for you.
All right. I appreciate that.
They all die, Todd. They all die.
Yeah. Well, they've already gone to hell once and heaven.
Yeah, true.
But I am looking forward to seeing Death again.
hmm It's worth it.
One of my favorite characters from the second movie. So, um, so we've got our most anticipated thing to watch this year. I suppose I could say Bill and Ted now, but
Yeah, I mean, yes,
um,
there you go. You could.
there's so many other things out there that, well, you don't know if they're going to show up or
Right.
not. It's kind
hmm
of up in the air. Everything's kind of been pushed back, and I mean, I could have said for last year maybe Wonder Woman 84, and I still haven't seen that yet. But um, based on the reviews I've heard, nah, that would probably not make the list.
It was rougher than I anticipated. There
Yeah.
there are great moments, and then there are what the hell moments. But it's worth seeing. So I'll give you that. I like I said, it with the way things have been reshuffled and whatnot. For me, it was the Black Widow movie. I really want to see once what they're doing with that because again, it's going to set something else up for the next phase of Marvel movies. So Black Widow is definitely up there. But then again at the end of last year, you had the Mandalorian and throw out a little thing now about the book of Boba Fett. So now I was like, okay, well that
Mhm.
seems exciting and they've done a great job with everything else. So I'm like, okay, gotta wait till December, but that should be pretty good.
Right. Well, I ended up deciding on a movie that's coming out supposedly in December, which doesn't have a title yet, as far as I know. It is the third Spider-Man movie because it sounds like that's going to set up a lot of stuff with Doctor Strange and tie in with something that just came out on Disney Plus
Mhm.
today,
Yes, that would be one.
WandaVision.
Yep.
I don't know if you've gotten a chance to see that yet.
Yes, I've watched the first two episodes of that. So definitely not what I was expecting, but we're rolling with it.
I know, yeah. I'm watching WandaVision and it's so set up like a 50s sitcom, with a
hmm
laugh track and everything. And the way I was feeling was, should I be laughing at some of this stuff? I
hmm
don't know if I should or not. And by the end of the first episode and into the second episode, I kind of got a feel for it. So I'm like, oh, that was really funny. I'm gonna laugh at that.
Right. Yeah, and what I'm looking at is all the little Easter eggs that are in there. You know, so full well there's something behind the scenes going on here. What is it? Why is it? And whatnot. So I'm not, like I said, it's one of those things. It's just so much different than kind of what was expected, and maybe some people were expecting exactly this. But I'm rolling with it because you've got to build this. It's not going to lead off with, here's the big bang, and there you are. You've got to set up for what they're doing, and like I said, it's setting up additional stuff as well. We know that's what they're doing, so. It is very intriguing. The whole flashback, I said, of going back to, pretty much the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The set was stolen from them. That part there to me is very intriguing.
And I don't know if I can say this with any certainty, but it almost seems like the difference between the first episode and the second episode, it might be, say, 50s and 60s. So maybe we're looking at 70s next.
Well,
so could there be a time progression?
Ended, I mean, there, that whole thing of what happened when the end of that one was like, okay, there's progression. Why? But again, like I said, without knowing what's really happening in the background, it could be, we're progressing through time.
And I have my own theory on that, but I'm not going to say anything yet.
No, let's give it time. We got a couple more weeks. Let it play out a little.
But then, I mean, also based on what we've seen in just the preview trailers, you kind of know where it's going from here. So that there could be something to that time progression.
Well, keep in mind they might also be doing it like when they did The Mandalorian and you saw a preview. The previews were always up to like episode 3 or 4, and by then that you had seen everything that was in the whole the trailers and whatnot. So here again, are we going to look at by episode 3 or 4? That's everything that was ever in the trailer, and beyond that is new and exciting. I don't know, but it's a formula that's been working for them on other stuff. So now, one of the things that I'm debating on how much I'm looking forward to this, but the Snyder cut of the Justice League.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The original theatrical release was a bit underwhelming. And it is, like I said, it is interesting to see what they've been doing to, do the Snyder cut of this movie. And it's going to be, now I'm understanding it's like could be a multi-part streaming release is what they're doing. But I'm open that it's something they knock out of the park because, DC has struggled. The Batman movies were very strong. The first Wonder Woman movie was phenomenal. I personally like Man of Steel. I did enjoy that one, but bringing it all together, they've got to find a better way to pull all these things to do it, like the Marvel group has done. If you want to have these movies where people are you're bringing different franchises together and whatnot, you've got to do a better job of making us want to know what's happening.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is true or not, but there was rumored, what was it, just last week, that Michael Keaton is the Batman of this universe going forward. So,
well, until they actually show us, I don't know. But we know obviously he's reprising a part, and I think they're doing it in a way. They have the DC multiverse. And I think they're going to play with that as well. They're going to have these cross riffs, and you've seen it when they do the TV shows like Flash and whatnot. I think it's a good plan if they can actually do this, where we can pull it all together. Bring in some of the old stuff, make you reminisce about Keaton as Batman. It could work, but we'll see.
Yeah, what they did with Crisis on Infinite Earths was so much better than what they did with Justice League the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. I mean, they tied things together so well.
Well, I like the fact that they went through and got all the folks from all the different TV shows for the past 20, 30 years and had them do little cameo spots within this.
Yeah.
And it is one of the things, like I said, that's what they need to do. That's the kind of creativity they need to bring to their franchise if they want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
If you want $1 billion movie, you got to set it up.
That's right. And there's talk about will there ever be blockbusters like that anymore? Movie blockbusters.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't get people into the theaters, and if they've grown accustomed to, I want to watch it on TV instead.
Well,
I mean, you can. I mean, they are doing the $20 or $30 for watching it right away at home.
right.
But
Well,
I
go
guess
back.
you got to figure how many people are going to be watching it. Is it going to make it worthwhile? Can it be comparable to the amounts of money that you would get from a theater showing?
Right. Well, again, this goes back to the whole point of if they get a solution to COVID and get it under control, if you can do it halfway through this year and alleviate a lot of these, problems, by the end of the year, yeah, you're going to have theaters come back because people want to go out. People are tired of being, stuck at home and limited in that function. They'll want to go out. And if we get to the point where it's safe to do so, who's ever got a movie ready to go in the October, November, December area, you're going to see just, I don't care how good the movie is. If it's safe to go out, people are like, I'm going to the movie, and they're all going.
That's true. You got to think of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, I do like what some of the theaters are doing now, where you can reserve a private showing. So, because of these big multiplexes, and I did this with a group of my friends when I was in Louisville yet. For depending on the if it's a new release or it's something an older movie that they brought back. So we went to see Empire Strikes Back in the theater. It cost me $100 to reserve it. I got to bring 20 people. So you're sitting in the theater, and again, you're spread out because it's there's only 20 of you in the theater. But you sat there and had the theater experience of watching Empire Strikes Back again. To me, that was worth the $100. And again, you're smart. You're wearing your masks. You wash your hands. Do it smart. Alleviate that risk there. So things like that the theaters are having to do, I think is great because they need to survive if we're going to have these theaters when things open back up.
Yep, agreed.
Plus, if you really want to, if they have a movie you really like, $100, go see it by yourself. Okay, there you go. It's a little extreme, Todd. I'm just saying, if it was something you really wanted.
Yeah, I noticed. I think there's a couple of theaters here that are doing the same thing. You could rent out the whole thing and see a movie with your friends, and it costs you $100. But I mean, like you said, you get 20 people, and it's affordable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really not that bad. If, like I said, if you can put the 20 people in, and every, I mean, it's again, it's your $5 a person to go sit there and see a movie with people and you like, or at least that
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
you could also spend some money on.
What's that?
You could also spend some money over at the Flaming Death Stock Room.
Oh my gosh! We have a stock room.
We do.
Oh my!
Right now, you can get masks.
I'm a little bit concerned about wearing a face mask that says "Flaming Death." I'm just saying. I want to throw that out there now.
Hey, there's been times because I went and ordered these for myself as well, and because I wanted to see the quality of them and make sure everything was kind of kosher with them. They really did turn out really nice. So I've been wearing these out in public.
Do you get questions, Todd? Or a lot of side eye?
I did get questioned. I was going to physical therapy like early in the year for an injury, and I come in and I'm wearing the one in the middle here, the white Flaming Death Productions mask. And he's like, okay, I gotta ask. What is Flaming Death Productions? So fortunately,
that's
I
good.
I had my little business cards with me, and kind of explain what was there and such. So, um, here, let me.
Have you had many sales, Todd? Do you know?
Um, Not a whole lot.
Okay.
That's why we're kind of doing some advertising here.
All right.
Maybe that'll push some sales. But
All right, folks. I'm just saying, Flaming Death Productions, the face mask. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Let's see. There's there's more than face masks here. You can still get your T-shirts.
Woohoo!
Let's see. We can go to. Oh, there's the black one. There was someone did buy one of the black Flaming Death production T-shirts, which is something new that I had. And when they ended up getting it, I saw pictures of the person wearing it, and the black of the background did not match the black of the T-shirt, which is really disappointing.
Yeah.
But for the face masks, what you see there in the picture is exactly the way it looks. It blended in perfectly. I don't know. They must use some different type of black T-shirts. It's just a different tone of black on the T-shirt. So I pulled the T-shirts, but I kept the masks. And you can also get the. Let me go back here. So you can get the more coverable masks. That there we go.
Yeah. Don't wear those on
these cost 14. Your regular ones cost 10. So there is a little bit more charge on that. But
I just want to point out: do not wear them on airplanes. All right, just.
Yeah. When I ended up getting the 3 masks, if you got a 4th mask, then they knocked, I think it was $10 off the order. So I was basically getting the 4th one for free. I had to do it. I got the G.I. Joe Cobra symbol. I have a Cobra mask.
Where's that? Why don't you have it ready? Let's see it. No?
That's upstairs in my dresser, unfortunately.
Now, it's funny that you mentioned that here. So here's something that was really weird I saw over the holiday season. Walmart is selling G.I. Joe stuff again from when we grew up. I'm talking like the toys, the figures, whatever, from our childhood in the 80s. Apparently, they have started manufacturing some of these again, which is hilarious and kind of scary when you look at the pricing compared to what we paid for stuff. But it's I did not realize that was making such a strong comeback, but apparently it's a thing again.
Yeah, they've done that a couple of times where they've brought some of the old toys back and then they disappear, and supposedly now they're back again. But kind of depends on where you go, because at least for the Walmart in Rochester, there's a lot of bare space on those shelves.
Yeah, I've the Walmarts. I've only been in 2 of them out here, and they've been pretty well decimated of everything. But my friendly Target stores are also in similar condition. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, we should probably do I was going to say fan film of the month, but it's been a long time, so it's more than a month.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the 3rd time for trying this movie now, I think, for this particular award or whatever you want to call it. But we are going with, and if I can go and do this again.
Can you do it? Can you do it without killing the... Oh, here we go.
So we're looking at Betrayal, Star Wars Order 66 short film. So if people want to check this out on YouTube, this isn't live action, although just by the still there, it looks like it could be. It's basically taking the, I can't remember if it's the Battlefront 1 or Battlefront 2 graphics and making animation out of it, making a story out of the animation. And it's well done. And a short film, only about 4 minutes. Plus you got to figure some of that as credits, so it's not too long, but I'd say it's worth checking out. But I was really impressed with the animation.
Doing an animation type something like that is probably, unless they had a huge team working on it, it's probably a little labor intensive to do something a lot longer. But again, like you said, well done with what they made there.
Yeah, just a few more screenshots. Look at that. That is awesome.
Yep.
So go and check that out. I'll stick a link in the show notes for this one. So
great.
You can go to YouTube and look at mine, and then you can take the link and look at theirs. So there you go.
Way to sell it on yours, Todd. That's the way we want to do it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's maybe about time for watching one of these.
Oh my.
Activate meditation chamber.
From Kenner's Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection, new Darth Vader Star Destroyer. The
Never got that one.
Batteries not included.
Darth Vader's stronger now.
Darth Vader.
He's got moves.
New Luke Skywalker. Action figures each sold separately. You can slide the viewing screen, turn Darth on the command bridge, and make Luke escape through the hidden hatch.
Test the laser cannon. We gotta find Luke.
Darth Vader Star Destroyer from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately. New
Back in days when we made fun toys.
I actually got that for Christmas one year.
Did you really? You bought it? Cool.
Initially, I was thinking, oh, this kind of sucks. But actually, it was kind of nice. I mean, just the meditation chamber itself was a nice thing to have.
Right.
And a place to stick all your Imperials when they go someplace. They really didn't have, good troop transports for Imperial figures at that point. Right. So.
Yeah, it is amazing to go back and see some of those old toys that they had, and just I saw recently a video of a guy who like refurbishes old toys and stuff like that, where he had one of the old X-Wing fighters, one of the original ones. It was just, yellowed and whatnot. And he totally disassembled this thing, cleaned it all up, and just showing how he cleans and restores stuff. Every single part was pulled apart. And it was amazing how it was assembled and how it worked. But he did his cleaning thing, got new stickers for it, put it all together. And you're like, that is just amazing how cool that looks. And, you don't see that with a lot of the toys nowadays because, again, you don't have the same level of interest in the physical toys like you used to. But some of those old things, from our childhood were pretty amazing when you go back and you look at it, at what they made.
Yeah. Yeah. It was probably that year on my Christmas list was an AT-AT.
Oh, you didn't get that, did you?
I never got one of those.
I didn't either.
Oh my gosh! I don't know if you remember in the mall. Mm-hmm. You go down to the side of JCPenney's, yes, and they've got the big window, and they had all of the toys for Christmas that year, and in the window was an AT-AT, and I'm just like, oh, please, please. No, it didn't happen.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Tell you what, Todd, if they do a re-release, I'll get you one, okay? How's that sound?
Well, when they came out with the Power of the Force stuff in the
Mhm.
90s, and they had an AT-AT there, bam, I got my AT-AT. So
All right, cool. I'm not getting you one then.
it just took me 15 years to get it, but
Mm-hmm. But again, it goes to the point of that just a cool toy that, again, it holds its own. If you are able to ever see one now, they're worth a lot of buck. I've seen them at conventions for quite a pretty penny to land one of those. So they're cool. But like I was saying, I had the Millennium Falcon, which was an awesome piece. They just had some really great stuff they came up with.
yeah. Yeah, the X-Wing that I had back in the day, broken wing, of course. So, yeah, after that accident, it was confined to flying in cruise mode. There was no X-Wing mode anymore. But what can you do?
You take care of your toys, Todd.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's the way it goes. I had the battle damaged X-wing,
Oh.
which at first I thought was really cool, but then I'm like, well, now I'm always flying around battle damage. What the hell?
Yeah, kind of the way that some people drive around in their cars. Looks like it's battle damaged.
This is true.
Ask Rachel about that.
We don't need to ask these questions.
Well, with as many deer as she's hit, she did get a new vehicle in October,
Okay.
and this one is a Ford Edge. And gosh, what was it? It was within 4 weeks, anyways. Deer. Again, this is like the third time. Although this time, it didn't hit hard enough to do any damage. Thank God.
Wow.
She got lucky this time.
Lucky as heck there. I mean, that's.
Yeah. And there's only been one time that I've had a deer encounter. Well, twice. The first one, I was driving from Rochester to Winona, and it was dark out, and I looked over at Rachel, and right then, I swear my radio antenna could have clipped its nose. It was that close to the car.
Wow.
But it was just standing there. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I had to stop and get out and look. Did I imagine that? Or I don't think I did. It probably ran off right away. But I'm like, was that real or not? But the second one was after one of the 9 times I watched The Force Awakens. I was coming back home after that, after watching 4 or 5 o'clock showing, and yep, I saw this thing jump out of or start crawling out of the ditch, and went and hit the brakes, and I slowed down enough where I bumped it, and I couldn't tell if I bumped it enough where there was damage or not, and it was dark out, so I couldn't really tell there. So I get all the way home, get it in the garage, look at it, nothing. I'm like, yeah.
You're getting pretty lucky on that, Todd. Just saying. Now, see, the entire time I lived in Minnesota, I only had like maybe 2 or 3 encounters where I would maybe see a deer in a ditch, nothing major like that. Obviously, out here, in Nevada, I'm not seeing deer everywhere. But when I lived in Kentucky, there were several times going down the freeway where I would see multiple sets of eyeballs, in the ditch along the freeway where you're cruising along at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that freaks you out a little bit there because she's like, it just takes one of them to panic. And there's a dozen. So, I mean, just saying, creeping me out.
Well, one of my rides on the scooter this summer, it was in August.
You would lose that fight. You would lose that fight so bad.
We ended up staying way too late at it was a surprise birthday party for someone that was outdoors, and it was Rachel, myself, Wade, their dad. We all got on cycles, went up there. As we were coming back, it was really starting to get dark, and I look off to the side, and this was like right before Hastings, going south, and yeah, there must have been like a dozen deer over in the cemetery just watching people go by. And it was like, stay over there. This is not the time to jump out in front of us now.
God, I hope you're responsible and wear your helmet when you're on your scooter.
Oh, all the time, yes.
That's good.
Yep, even that first time I went out, where I wiped out, I had my helmet. I probably should have had on a jacket then too, but nope,
Hey,
it was t-shirt and jeans. I should have had something more on.
little road rash there.
Yeah. Enough to break this thumb, which is all fine now, but and then there was road rash down here and there and there. A little bit on the legs, but not very much, because basically when I went down like sliding into home plate, I like to say,
Yeah.
because it was kind of going like this and keeping my head up. So
If you had your helmet on, you should have led with that.
I just got the helmet in the mail that day. I wasn't going to wreck it right away. I'm like, save the helmet, scrape the skin.
All right.
At least that's what was going through my head at the time.
I'm just saying that, it's all happened fast. We understand. I'm just saying for future reference, crack that. Just go.
And then one of the worst parts was, I mean, besides the road rash, I've got the helmet on, I've got my glasses on, and after something like that, you're not really thinking too well.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing I want to do, I go and take off the chin strap, take the helmet off, forget that my glasses are still on. So the nose piece on the glasses went right up my forehead. So I had this big scratch there for about a month. And I'm like, where did I get this scratch from? I had the helmet on. How did I get this scratch? And it took me a few weeks to think about it, and like, oh yeah, my glasses. That's right. I have my glasses on. Taking the helmet off, the glasses just went with it, and oh well.
But we're glad you're okay, Todd, because that's the key part right there.
Yeah. And that's what, like 2.5 years ago now? Something like that. So since then, I've done a lot better at riding those. Yeah, we're good. We're experienced. We're licensed. So good to go. Well, I did want to give a little teaser for what I'm trying to plan for next month, and I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, because it's going to involve many people.
Good luck, Todd. There's a pandemic.
Well, if they're all on like this, that is the goal. So
you want to tell us more, or are you just going to like really vague this out here and be like the people who post on social media about, I'm going to do blah, 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 and then just leave like that and walk away? Is that what you're doing here, Todd?
Well, that was kind of the plan at first. Because there's always the possibility that the bottom falls out and it doesn't happen.
Right. So you should just spoil it now and tell us what you want to do, Todd. Let the audience know.
Think
Are we doing a game show? Will there be prizes?
Think Josh Gad and what he's done with his reunited, what are they called? I want to say like retro reunited, but that's not right. reunited apart.
Not familiar with this, but that's okay.
Really? He's done so many of these where he gets like the cast of Ferris Bueller's Day Off together, and
So you want to get
sad about the movie.
together of your fan film and have us do a little thing. Is that what you want to do, Todd?
Maybe.
All right. Well, I'm only in if Darth Smiley's in. That's all I can say.
I think there's a good chance we could get Darth Smiley.
All right.
If we're going to get Harn Winim, now that's a big question.
You're gonna have to sweet talk people, Todd. You're gonna have to sweet talk people.
Yeah, and then to find a date where everyone can come together and make this happen. That's kind of what we're looking at. So maybe a teaser for something to come, maybe not, but that's what I plan on looking into.
All right. Do you still have the Elmo?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Hold on a sec.
Oh my gosh.
There he is.
Right there is why you should all be involved with this. Right there.
Oh my gosh. You know what I could do? One camera just on Elmo doing the talking.
There you go, Todd. I'm glad I could help with that.
Although this isn't the exact same Elmo.
What? That's an imposter? Is that like a baby Elmo?
He's a stand-in. But what happened was the Elmo that we used in Yoda's Treasure was actually a Yoda that belonged, or an Elmo that belonged to Sheldon Lass and his son, actually. Okay. So we gutted out his kid's Elmo for doing Yoda's Treasure, and then we stuck everything back into him and gave him back to him. Because they don't make puppets for just people doing stuff like we're doing.
This is what it takes to get you good quality programming is we will take your dolls and we will gut them.
That's right. So, and then it was shortly after I saw one of these Tickle Me Elmos at a garage sale, and I'm like, there we go. I must have them. And so if we ever needed Elmo again, we've got him.
Excellent.
And he's still here. But these are the original ears. You've got the original Jedi robes for him. So the only thing different is Elmo himself. And he needs to be gutted.
Yeah. We'll let you work on that for the next couple of weeks here, Todd.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that just about does it for this time. And hopefully when I hit stop, we will have a full recording. It says it's recording right now. I've got a time up there. It says it just turned to 1 hour and 14 minutes. So
all right.
I can hit stop record at any time now, and we should have a full episode. And it should have sound. We should have video.
I look forward to the lovely update where you tell me this worked, and not the other updates where you say, "Oh crap."
There's been too many of those.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we go back to doing monthly. Not necessarily you, unless you want to be, but
I'll do when I can, man. It's like I said, it's things fluctuate, but when I can participate, I will. But we always look for volunteers. So again, like I said, we have other folks who maybe want to participate. Speak up, let me know, let Todd know. I mean, it's like I said, it's a good discussion, and we talk about things that are going on, and maybe a little fresh blood to give us some insight on things they like and don't like would never hurt.
That's right.
We should have some sucker who wants to tell us they don't like the boys. That's what we could do. And then we could just tear that apart and go from there.
Oh, yeah. This reminds me, I had a discussion with This was one of Sean's friends, Colin. And we were having a discussion, this is about a couple weeks ago, about The Mandalorian. And he absolutely hated Ahsoka in it and hated the way that it was going and didn't like the last episode. And I'm like, I wanted to take him and shake him.
This is somebody who has been in your house.
Yeah.
They don't come in the house anymore, Todd.
Wait, you might have met him. He came along with Sean and myself when we went to Celebration Chicago.
Oh, he seems like such a normal fellow then.
I wouldn't go that far.
I was saying, as you know, as can be with some of the crowds that we deal with at these things, but yeah, we can't have him back if he's going to diss on the Mandalorian like that. That's just we can't do it, Todd.
We're telling you right now, Colin, if you're watching, you're wrong.
You're wrong. This might call for the rubber hose. I'm just saying. Like we said, for everything, not everything is for everybody. We get that, but as we point out, for positive arguments, great. For negative arguments, don't just dislike it because of something petty on there like that. If you got a real problem with it, discuss it. We're always willing to talk, and not everybody likes everything the same level we do. We get that.
Yep.
It's the reason why I don't watch Twilight. Some people love that. I'm not going to watch it.
That's right. Me neither.
Yeah, not happy.
All right.
Some people love their daily what do you call it, the soap operas. I know some people are really into those. No, not going to happen. But again, that's why we're a wonderful and diverse people. But The Mandalorian is great, so suck it.
And on that note, that's been Flamecast for this month. I am Todd Platz.
And I'm Travis Buckmeyer.
And hopefully that is a wrap.
Good luck, Todd.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to do number 55 a fourth time.
Oh, boy.